Over the past year, many state lawmakers have doubled down on making abortion available on demand. In these states, pro-lifers face an uphill battle to save lives. In California, Governor Gavin Newsom has said multiple times that he wants California to be an abortion sanctuary for women who live in states where pro-life laws are already enacted. And during the midterms last fall, California citizens voted to amend the state's constitution to explicitly protect a so-called right to kill unborn children. How are pro-lifers in California continuing to advocate for life, despite the odds seemingly stacked against them? We recently spoke to Jonathan Keller of the California Family Council, who says the battle is first and foremost spiritual. So, Jonathan, we're here in front of the Lincoln Memorial a year out from the overturn of Roe v. Wade. You're working in California to save lives, a unique challenge. Talk to me about that.
Well, last year was a huge, momentous day. It was a reason for celebration. And I think we do need to first off pause and thank God for the blessing it is to live in a post-Roe America. But being in California, it's a reminder that our work is not done. We still have a huge task in front of us to protect unborn human life. And sadly, last year we saw, as a direct response to the Dobbs decision, our state passed over a dozen pro-abortion bills, specifically trying to increase abortion in California, even recruiting women from around the country, from red states, pro-life states, to come to California and kill their children. So our work is really cut out for us, especially when we have a governor like Gavin Newsom.
Talk to me a little bit more about Governor Newsom's efforts over the past year to expand abortion.
Well, it's no surprise that Gavin Newsom is pro-abortion. He's one of the most pro-abortion governors in the entire country. But last year, he really put his money where his mouth was, not just state dollars, but even his own campaign funds. He created billboards in multiple states around the country advertising that women could come to the state of California to have abortions. In some of these states, he even went further. He actually quoted the words of Jesus in the Gospel of Mark, saying that loving your neighbor as yourself means coming to California so that you can have an abortion. I mean, it was really blasphemous. It was completely disrespectful to any person of faith. But we were able to release an ad fighting back against that last year, just reminding Governor Newsom that actually our neighbor is the child in the womb. It's not just the mother who is struggling and suffering and experiencing an unplanned pregnancy. These littlest neighbors also deserve protection. But this year, unfortunately, we've seen continued efforts to attack life. We've seen bills that are attacking pregnancy care centers, whether it is through labeling them as disinformation or even in some cases trying to fine them with huge, even $10,000 penalties. So there really is no low, it seems, to which they will not stoop to attack life.
Yeah. Talk to me about what your advice would be to people working in states like California, places like New York and other states where they are working to expand abortion. How do you kind of get off the ground in a state like that? Because I know you have a robust program at this point.
Yeah, I would say that in blue states around the country, it's going to be a challenge moving forward. There is a ton of money, both public and private, sadly, that is flowing towards states that are working to expand abortion. The abortion industrial complex nationally is real. I mean, they want to see abortion expanded in these blue states. So I think one of the most important things, first off, that we can do is remember this is a spiritual battle. We have to be engaged in prayer on a daily basis. I would tell you, if I was not a believer, if I didn't believe that Jesus Christ was fighting for us, I would have lost hope a long time ago in the state of California. But we do have to keep that eternal perspective, that spiritual focus. And I think beyond it being a spiritual battle, we also have to realize that there are temporal things that we can do, whether we're engaging in legislation at the Capitol, whether we're here in Washington, D.C., fighting for the Supreme Court. We had, by God's grace, a huge victory 5 years ago when the Supreme Court struck down a California law that would have forced every pregnancy center in the state of California to advertise for abortion. So that was defeated by a 5-4 vote. Thank you, Justice Thomas. But we have a lot more work ahead of us on that front, filing briefs, fighting legislation. The final thing that I will say is really the hearts and minds issue, working through pregnancy resource centers, working to change the culture. I think that's really the next step that the pro-life movement has to move into. We have to make abortion not just illegal, but we really have to make it unthinkable through our persuasive and winsome attitudes as pro-life citizens.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Jonathan, and thank you for all the work that you're doing in California.
Thank you so much.